They've done it again. For the second time, they've taken a beloved series, ripped the soul out of it for what? A mobile game.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah.
Similar vibes, yes, I think you'd agree. If you needed confirmation that Command & Conquer is well and truly dead, this is it. With the announcement of Command & Conquer Legions, if there was any doubt before, any glimmer of hope, Electronic Arts has hammered down the final nail in the coffin. But to understand why Command & Conquer is in this predicament, we need to go back. No, even earlier than this. 3 years after the release of Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, EA released this abomination, Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight, which was supposed to be the conclusion of the Tiberium series. It was supposed to be special. It was the end of Kane's story, the leader of the Brotherhood of Nod and the Tiberian saga. For a lot of people, Kane is somewhat the anti-hero and the hero of the entire Command & Conquer series. And we got something so mediocre, I don't even know what to describe and how to actually explain it. Fans hated this game with such a passion, so much so we erased this from our memories. They killed base building for mechanized walkers, basically a mobile HQ. Sure, there were many RTSs doing this at that time, streamlining the experience for more accessibility for a wider audience. But what exactly was the problem with base building, and what were they trying to solve by removing them? The only thing I can think of was the burgeoning popularity of MOBAs such as Dota. And Dota was more popular than the RTS game it was based out of, Warcraft 3. So devs and big game publishers thought gamers don't like base building. And there was money to be made chasing what's popular. Essentially trend chasing. It was all about the money. They also added asinine mechanics like needing to grind to unlock units to play in multiplayer. I mean, can you imagine it? Not having all access to units and you needed to grind playing the game to actually unlock stuff to play against your friends or other people competitively. This essentially killed multiplayer from the moment the game hit the shelves. There were plenty of other questionable design decisions which didn't help its cause. The question I had in mind was this really the vision they had for the final chapter of this venerable series? Or did something change halfway through development? But it didn't matter. It is what it is. Command & Conquer 4 actually sold relatively well, especially in the early days of its release, but it took a nosedive after that. Because one thing I remembered about this game, well, more than the game itself, was seeing the shelves stocked up with boxes of unsold copies of CNC4 in my local video game store. I think this was after all the reviews hit and the word of mouth got around. And this affected EA. It would take them more than 10 years to announce another Command & Conquer game that would make the entire fan base of Command & Conquer around the world to do a collective facepalm. 10 years later and they announced Command & Conquer Rivals. The problem with Rivals was that it was not Command & Conquer. The entire thing looked like a quick, let's slap a popular franchise name in the hopes of getting more people to download this game. Why bother calling it something else when EA has this name they could just slap and make a quick buck? And the thing that riled me up the most, for the reveal, they chose to present this whole thing like it's some sort of intense competitive game, presented like an esports match. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Rivals was basically a casual game, not made for Command & Conquer fans. Heck, even a game like Clash Royale had more strategic depth than this. And finally, we have reached the point of no return. EA has officially announced Command & Conquer Legions recently, yet another mobile game.
Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Which this time looks a bit more like an RTS, but very simplified of course. And it is not developed by EA, but licensed out to another publisher and developed by a Yorha Studios, a developer in China. And you know what? It shows that this was something that was perhaps first conceived primarily for the East Asian market. You could find some footage of the game on YouTube, but I'm not sure how fair of a representation that would be, especially since a lot of them still use Chinese characters and were probably a very early build. Legions will have like a strategic map where you and other players build bases and take over regions with Tiberium, and a simple real-time battle mechanic. It is slated for release later this year. They have not shown much about the game, which is not exactly a good sign, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm not saying these mobile games are inherently terrible. I can't say whether Legions will be good. It might be okay, maybe even a little fun for a couple of minutes, and probably have a horrible monetization, but that's a different topic for another day. We need to look at it from the context that these are the games they are slapping the Command & Conquer name on rather than supporting it with a mainline CNC game. These are the only type of CNC games that gets the green light from EA. They have shown zero interest in making a new Command & Conquer RTS for the PC. I mean, if they could license this out to mobile developers, they could just as easily go to Petroglyph Games, a studio founded by some of the very same people who made the original Command & Conquer, and say, here's a few million, go make a new one. But they won't. It comes down to two things. One, EA does not believe there is a market big enough to invest the money for such a production. And two, developing mobile games is cheaper. All is not lost though. We have seen a good number of RTSs that are currently in development and big RTS franchises which has come back. This bodes well for the genre as a whole. But you know what? You can help too. Yes, you. You may still play the pivotal role in this story. Get out there and search for RTS titles on Google and YouTube. Oh, but before you do that, make sure you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos on strategy games. What else could you do? Follow the development of upcoming RTSs, play the preview or beta, give the devs feedback, join their Discord servers, help them make a better game, support these devs. You can absolutely make RTS a trending topic and maybe open the eyes of the big publishers. I'm not saying we will get a Command & Conquer RTS or ever get one, but we can revive this genre, maybe spur the development of new innovative RTSs that don't just have to use excuses like streamlining to justify removing core parts of an RTS, or even those that harken back to the classic gameplay of the 90s RTS. Now, I'm not asking you to blindly support games you may not fancy, but do give them a fair shake, try them out when possible. You make your own decision and support the games you like, because you, the gamer, is the consumer that can make a difference. Perhaps from the ashes of Command & Conquer, there shall rise a new king of the classic RTS, and you would have played a part in it. For me, I think I might do more videos on these upcoming RTSs, especially since Total War is pretty pricey these days. Maybe I'll also do videos on the old classic RTSs too. That could be a lot of fun. Speaking about classic 90s RTS, I did a video about Tempest Rising, which is pretty much Command & Conquer in a modern setting, which you can watch right here. Thank you for watching. This is Frag signing off. See you in the next video. Bye bye.